Morning, everyone. All of you know that we were discussing Gulliver's Travels Part 3, which is in the syllabus of PA 4th semester of English Honours, okay, under CBCS. So, Gulliver's Travels Part 3 is entitled as A Voyage to Laputa, Palniburbe, Lugnac, and Japan. We already covered 3 chapters of this particular part. Today, we will begin with the chapter 4 and it will continue till chapter 7. Okay, you just try to um, concentrate what I say. So in chapter 4, Gulliver feels neglected on Laputa. It is shown to us here due to inferiority complex, due to other reasons. I do not want to make you confused. You just remember that in that particular place people were quite thoughtful. They did not have much time to pay attention to the other people. This is why Gulliver felt that he was rejected, he was neglected, and he was dejected. So, I already told you that the people were busy with mathematical thought, scientific thought, astrological thought, and musical thought. So, they did not have time for the others. Okay, so Gulliver wanted to leave that place. Finally, he found a person in the king's court who did not have interest in music at all. He approached that particular person to get help from, to get the permission to leave that place. And the request succeeds, and he was sent to Lagado, the capital city of that particular island, that is Laputa, where he met another person named Monodi. You just try to remember this name of the person because he will be the companion to Gulliver uh, for a very long period of time. Gulliver stayed with Monodi for a long time and visited the nearby towns with him, where he finds the inhabitants were living in the places which is not hygienic, the shabby houses. They were poorly dressed people, and the soil that were dwelling on was not enough fertile to cultivate. Okay, that is the idea of that particular place. The notion of that particular place also not so good. Uh, so he visited to the country house of Munodi with the person, and he finds some greenery there. There is something positive there. Then Munodi took him to the academy in Lagado. The most important thing, the academy. In chapter 4, 5, and 6, the description of the academy can be seen. Okay, the academy uh, was established by a group of people who visited Laputa 40 years ago and came back with new ideas. So we can say that the place Laputa is a place of new ideas, is a place of new thinking, is a place of new learning, is a place of innovation, is a place of what we say novelty and all. This is why we also can say that Laputa is a renaissance place for them. Whoever goes to Laputa, he or she comes back with ideas and establishes some ideas and tries to make some new notion. Okay, so some of the people went to Laputa and came back and then established an academy in Lagado where some projects of on science, technology, agriculture, linguistics, and politics were going on. So in the next chapter, we will find the description of the academy very well. Okay, let's move to the next chapter then. In chapter 5, the description of academy is shown. He visits the academy and notices some projects were going on. What are the projects? I have included some projects here. You just try to focus on. Number one, to extract sunbeams from cucumber. You know what is cucumber? Cucumber is a kind of vegetable. Out of that vegetable, some scientists were trying to extract the sunbeams. Okay. Next one is to turn excrement back into food. What is excrement? Excrement is the waste product or the byproduct of human body or animal body. That is the stool. Out of that stool, the scientists were trying to make food. This is another experiment. Third experiment was, or the project was, to turn ice into gunpowder. The ice into gunpowder. The fourth one, to study the malleable nature of fire. What is malleability? Malleability is the capacity of being shaped by hammering. Is it possible to make a shaped object out of fire by hammering? It is not possible. Okay, but they were trying their best to make it. Okay, and number five is to build houses from roof down. Generally, the houses, what kind of the houses should be? The roof should be upward. Okay, but they were trying to build the houses where the roof will be downwards. Okay, this is another very interesting thing that you have to remember. Along with these things, a blind master is trying to teach the blind students to mix colors, how to mix colors for painters according to smell and touch. The teacher is also blind, the students are also blind. They were trying to mix the colors for the painters with the help of smell and touch, by touching and by smelling. Okay, it is an absurd thing. Next, an agronomist. The agronomist means who tries to study the agricultural field, is trying to design a method of plowing fields with the help of hogs. Hogs, you know, it is the pig. How? How he is trying to design a method of plowing with the help of hogs, then first burying foods, first burying food in the ground and then letting the hogs loose to dig it out. Okay, this is another important thing that you have to remember. Next, the doctor is trying to cure the patients by blowing air through them. This is another. You have to remember all while writing your answer. If the question is what were going on in that academy at Lagado, then you have to include all these things. And you have to include the number of the chapter as well. In chapter number 5, these things could be seen. Okay. Next one, professor is taking class on writing book on philosophy and politics using sets of words produced by a machine. So using a robot in modern sense, a professor is trying to write books on philosophy and politics, that is philosophical and political thought, okay, will be written by a machine. Is it possible? It is not possible. A scientific book a machine can write, most probably, but a machine cannot write a philosophical or political or literary book. It is not possible at all, but a professor is trying his best to do so. Next, a linguist is attempting to remove all the elements of language except the nouns. According to him, the language should be more concise, should be more uh, uh, should be easy to understand, and it should be uh, very easy to be handled. Okay, this is why he is trying to remove all the elements like adjective, pronoun, verb, adverb, and other parts, and he is taking only the nouns to create a new language so that the people can save their time. Next, another professor tries to teach mathematics by using the biscuit or the wafers that have mathematical proof written on them. That is, the professor will give some biscuits to the students to eat, where the mathematical proofs and mathematical formula uh, would be written. And this is how they will be able to remember all the formula and mathematical proof. Is it possible? According to Gulliver, these are nonsense. He is trying to criticize all these things. This is why he is tired of all this nonsense, and he wanted to go back to his own place. Then comes to chapter number 6. Then Gulliver visits professors who were studying the issues of government. So he found one claiming that women should be taxed according to their beauty and dressing sense. So these are the policymakers. The policymakers were making policy for that particular island. One of them was trying to impose tax on the beauty and dressing sense of women. And number two was another of them was claiming that conspiracies against government could be discovered by studying the stool, the excrement of the subjects. That is the conspiracies. Is if someone is making conspiracy, if someone is trying to deceive the government, then it can be considered, it can be discovered by studying the stool or the excrement of that particular person, whether it is true or not. By seeing all these things, Gulliver was tired of, and he wanted to return to England. Now, coming to the last portion, that is chapter number 7. In this chapter, it is shown that he tries to travel to Lubnang, but there was no ship. He had to wait for a month. This is why he had a trip to Klapdabdrib, and this is an island of magicians. So he visits the governor of that particular island and finds that several people were appearing and disappearing before him like spirits. It is true. That is, the spirit calling power was there with that particular governor. And the governor told him that he had the power to call any spirit he wished to. This is why our Gulliver chooses some important characters from history to meet with. Number one was Alexander the Great. The spirit of Alexander the Great told him that he was not died of poison but from excessive drinking. Okay, Gulliver meets Alexander the Great, Varsvili, what we can call it Varsvili now. That is the spirit of Alexander the Great. Then Gulliver sees Carthaginian general Hannibal. I will not discuss Hannibal here. Next Caesar, next Brutus, and next Pompey. This is a task for you. You just go through all the characters of history and try to find out who actually they were. Number one, Alexander the Great. Number two, Hannibal. Number three, Caesar. Number four, Brutus. Number five, Pompey. Okay, this is your homework. You try to find out all about these particular persons. Okay, I think you have understood what I have told today, and we will discuss the next parts in the next class. Thank you.